in a single moment, this entire thing changed. And all of it just basically took a massive dump all in one moment. Look. So I cheated a little bit and I already did some stuff. I didn't want to film it because it was already annoying to do, so I just did it. The fuel lines here in the back have been replaced. They're beautiful now. And they're not hard anymore and they're not brittle, they're just good. That third line there is for the evap, so I just left that alone because it's not in any way critical and it doesn't carry fluid. So all the way to the hanger, those lines are replaced. And it's even stuffed inside of the factory thing there. So the plan for today is to get the intake manifold as assembled as I can until I get parts, which should be tomorrow. And we're gonna do the AIV delete, and then we're gonna do the whole mess with all of this stuff. So all this will be in the car. We'll start by putting the throttle bodies and everything else on. So for whatever reason, Nissan wants this stuff on their bolts, and I think that's ridiculous, but that's what they want, so I'm not gonna argue with them. The intake manifold's all cleaned up. The surfaces are nice and shiny to accept new gaskets. I still have to make block off plates for this port here and the other one on the other side, but I'll do that after I get the throttle body stuff on. So the intake manifold is as far as I can go without the balance tube O-rings and without it being on the car. So throttle bodies are on, blue Loctite on the bolts, same with this middle piece and the other throttle body, of course. The new fuel line from the Z1 kit is installed. I reused the factory clamps because they're fine. The only thing left is to make these block off plates here. Then it'll be as 100% as it can be until it's ready to go on the car. 2 block off plates. This one has 3 holes because I messed up. This one has 2 because I made it second. They're ugly because the only metal tools I have are hand shears and a drill. So that's why they look like this. But they do line up, they do fit, and they are nice. All I gotta do is find some gasket paper. I have a roll of it somewhere, I don't know where, but as soon as I find that, I can install those. Moving on to the more important stuff, now we get to mess with the puzzle of that. Good news, bad news. So, good news is, laid out all the piping and I know where everything goes. Bad news is, we're missing most of it and we have doubles of things we don't need doubles of. So here's the solution. I dug through some boxes that were here in the shop and I found these 2 pipes, right? I think they might be for an SR, but it fits kind of perfectly. Slight modification will be needed to this one to get it to fit just right because it needs to attach here. And as you can see, it's off by a little bit. And then for this one, it's the same shape, but like upside down. So if this got cut off here and turned, and that got cut off there and turned, this would fit, and we would still need to figure something out to ultimately run to the intercooler. So we have the accordion pipes that are the intakes, and they run here. And I have this middle piece here, along with the MAF and the intake. And then over here, on the throttle bodies, we have the 2 pipes that run off of there. So once the intercoolers are mounted in their proper homes, it'll be easier to see how the piping needs to be routed. I'm gonna check with somebody either tomorrow or the next day about getting the OEM stuff before we go and start chopping that up and modifying it. Because the cost to get somebody to come here and weld this up and do everything else, it might either be cheaper or the same price to just get the factory stuff, should they have it. So unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I'm actually on hold for parts. There's literally nothing more that I can do right now. Everything is paused. Also, once I get that order in of all those OEM parts, I'll be able to finish fully assembling the intake manifold, which is basically done. Theoretically, I can get the trans, the drive shaft, and the downpipes on, which means the whole under the car will be finished minus the exhaust. Still a matter of laying out the wire harness and swapping the injector clips, which are also supposed to be here. Yeah, but we're jamming. We're jamming right now. Well, I won't need the lift anymore because everything under the car will be done besides the exhaust. So we're looking really, really good right now. And but I completely forgot. I still have to figure out that harness situation with the trans. It's complicated. I really, really don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I think the other stuff here is probably a neutral switch and a reverse sensor, which the reverse sensor is no big deal because that's just to turn on the lights. The neutral switch can be bypassed. This is really the most important thing because it's the gear shift. So hopefully that's good. I really, really hope that that's all that is once I open that up. And I still need to figure out the harness. Okay, so wiring. We got a little bit of wiring to do. Great news. Check it out. Yes. So Nissan pulled through, but also didn't, which sucks. A couple things did get messed up in the order. Out of the box, the ICV gasket right there, torn. And if you look here, 7, there's the part, and look, quantity 8. 8 is what I ordered. 7 is what they processed. They're for the downpipes anyway. So, I mean, it's not really that big of a holdup, but I wanted to put the downpipes on before I put the transmission on. Fortunately, this and basically all of these sensors on the trans are still available brand new. So, it's not so bad. But it also is sort of bad because we're having to buy parts that we shouldn't have to be buying. Anyway, we'll get all that sorted out. But that's good news, though. That's real good news that all those parts are still available. And we can do that. So hopefully by tonight, I think we'll be good to actually put the trans in, to put the drive shaft in, because now we have the hardware for it. The torque converter can go on, a whole bunch of stuff. Everything under the car should be done by tonight, which would be the greatest thing ever. And I would, oh my goodness, that would be like the biggest boost in this whole process right now. What we're doing next is installing the downpipes. Well, we have the studs and we have most of the nuts, so we're just gonna go ahead and put them on. So moving on to the trans. We are going to open this harness up and we're going to see what in here is destroyed and what needs to be replaced or what can be fixed or whatever. Fortunately, all of these sensors are replaceable. So they all terminate here. So whichever ones are cut, which I'm hoping this one and this plug are one and the same, we can just replace everything else. So that's going to be great. And here we have worst case scenario. So this is the starter inhibitor and it's got a dual harness coming off of it. This plug is fine and the other half of it is not. Along with this one and then this one, which can't even be repaired because all the wires inside are like microscopic. This is just a ground. And this sensor is just fine. We can install the trans tonight, which we will. And with the trans in, I'll be able to lock down the motor so I can't pull it forward anymore. I found, fortunately, all of the factory piping. So all of the piping that goes from the turbo to the intercooler, from the intercooler to the throttle body, all of it. And all the couplers, I have it. It's all in order. It's in the mail, it's on the way. It's all used, of course, but somebody had it and now I have it. But as far as everything goes in the engine bay, once all the piping is in, that's really it. I mean, there's a radiator, there's the oil cooler, and then the wire harness support, but it's all minor stuff. So we're looking really good. We're looking really, really good right now. In a single moment, this entire thing changed. And all of it just basically took a massive dump all in one moment. Look. I just tried to fit this to the trans because it's having a hard time seating, so what I wanted to do was use this to turn the splines, thinking maybe that would help. When I tried to put the drive shaft in, it wouldn't go in. Partially because the part that actually goes into the back of the trans is too small. Then I got to looking inside and the splines in there, and there are two keyways in there, both 180 degrees apart from each other. First sign of struggle was when I looked at this and saw no such pattern existed. Then I put it on the diff, and it did fit on the diff, but then I tried to fit it here to these 2 points where the center section of the drive shaft actually will mount, and the mount holes are completely different. Then I went online and looked at pictures of an automatic 300ZX drive shaft. It's not that. So the cost of a 2+2 automatic drive shaft is just, it's too much. It's way out of the budget, and there's still things that need to be bought. So it's over. That's it. I'm gonna keep pressing on. I'm gonna keep doing everything that I can. The trans is having a hard time actually mating to the motor, and now I see why they installed it the way they did, the half-ass way they did. But Winterfest. Oh geez, we're gonna make it to Winterfest. We're gonna have this car at Winterfest. We're gonna have this car at Winterfest. We're gonna have that car at Winterfest. That one, this one. Oh my gosh, we're gonna go to Winterfest and we're gonna roll so deep it's ridiculous. So that's gonna be my, what are we gonna call it? Man, I forget what the word is, but whatever the word is for when you do something and then it's like, okay, you gotta redemption. That's gonna be my redemption. So I'm gonna redeem myself. I'm gonna redeem the shop. I'm gonna redeem everything. Winterfest, we're gonna roll deep, real deep. The rush is off, and we got 2 cars coming. This one and this one. If you like disappointments like this, or a whole lot of anticlimactic endings, like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, tell everybody about the channel, about the videos. Check us out on Instagram, check us out on Facebook, check us out in real life, all that kind of stuff. So until next time, sorry?